G'day, I'm Danny from DannyPaints, and in this video, I show you how to make easy, vibrant jungle bases. Bases are a huge part of your models, and are probably more important than you give them credit for. A good base can easily make or break your model. I've recently been painting a huge Seraphon army for Age of Sigmar, and I needed a fast, effective, and above all, easy way of making heaps of bases. I love the idea of a more rabid, wild, feral Seraphon force retaking their ancient lost civilizations. So we're going with more of a ruined jungle city / overgrown stonework vibe. Here's a list of the things you need. Screenshot at your own discretion. Alrighty, get your bases out. Like a lot of hobby endeavors, this becomes faster and more efficient the more you do per batch, but I only need 2. So to start out, we need to make what's going to be the stonework. Mix up a big old chunk of green stuff, making sure to keep your hands wet or lubricated with Vaseline or something. Although if you do use Vaseline, make sure you wash the green stuff before you glue or paint it. I do this over a piece of plastic card because the cutting mat tends to absorb the water a bit, and I just find it's a nicer working surface. It also gives you something to peel the pieces of green stuff off after we're done. Okay, mush, 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 and we're done. Then we're gonna roll it out to 1 or 2 mils thick. Don't get caught up on measurements, just give it a bit of trial and error until you find what works for you. And make sure to use plenty of your choice of lubrication on both sides to keep it from sticking after we roll it. It's at this point I realize I don't have a regular rolling pin, so it's either go out and buy one, or make do. So, being the energetic, motivated, and organized person that I am, here's my janky ass homemade do. Still works. Once it's nice and flat, it just takes one pass with medium pressure of the actual textured rolling pin, taking care not to push too hard, otherwise you'll push right through your green stuff. Leave this to dry, and once set, you can peel it off with a little help from old hobby knife. Voila! Texture pancake. For this Seraphon project, I want the stonework to be half buried and overgrown, so I only want some sections of the base covered here. I work out which parts of each base I want the most stonework on and lay down some super glue in approximately the right areas. We flip the texture upside down and stick the bases on. I then trim off the edges, and we can use the offcuts to add extra uneven bits across the base in a random sort of a fashion. Then, we need some jungle plants. Plastic aquarium plants are perfect for this, but do be careful to get the ones with the smallest leaves. It's actually really handy to bring a mini to the store to compare against the plants to get the best scale. For the high fantasy realm of Age of Sigmar though, these ones will do fine. I cut them up into smaller pieces in interesting shapes and then pull out the hand drill to make holes in which to glue them. Once all the plants you want are glued in, or if you're smart, before they're glued in, it's a good idea to test fit the models that will be going on the base. Seems good. The last step here is to unify all the elements of the base with some good old texture paint. Let that dry and it's on to the painting. Prime these boys black and then get the brush out. I'm doing the slow, boring way, but you can definitely use an airbrush for these steps. Medium grey for the stone and any old earth tone for the dirt. I then add a touch of white to these and give them a quick dry brush. For the plants and grass, I went with a pretty saturated set of greens to really make them jump out, but depending on your project, more realistic tones are going to work just as fine. 2 coats of the dark green, and then with the mid-tone, it gets really fun. On these bigger leaves, you can paint striations or veiny bits or make them variegated or do whatever. After this step, I just hit the whole thing with a pretty heavy green wash to tie it all together and tone it down at the same time. No idea why I chose to use a glove for this step and only this step, but it makes about as much sense as the rest of my life.
Like and sub for glove.
I pull out a pastel grey-green to give the stonework a little extra visual interest, and then it's on to highlighting the flora. If you're not careful, which is definitely me, the wash can leave pools and stains on the leaves like this one, so I take the chance to neaten it up a little with the highlight colour. Once that's done, chuck a lick of black paint around the rim and they're ready for models. These bases are super easy, look great, and are really efficient to do in large batches, making them perfect for your next army project. If you found this video helpful at all, chuck us a like and a subscribe, it really helps. See you next time.